All right, welcome back to Laken Riley Podcast, episode 218. Today on the show, the Democrats are trying to get us into World War III as a parting gift. We're going to show you what Putin said in response. Then, MSNBC's post-election ratings are in, and you won't believe which fat racist podcast gets more views than them. Then after that, we have some aliems footage in Housekeeping. Then, liberal women are making themselves as ugly as possible to get back at Trump or something. And last but not least, in Urban Decay, you'll never guess what happens during the New Orleans police chief's press conference. All this and more, it's Laken Riley Podcast, episode 218, ranked the best new podcast of all time!
Because words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words. But at the same time, words speak louder than actions because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Very cool. Very cool.
It's Laken Riley Podcast featuring Richard Grab.
All right, one for one on the intro, as always. Guys, you know about Farmer Bill by now. Longtime supporter of the show, major show watcher, and a base beef merchant making the best meat snacks in the entire world. And if you haven't placed an order yet, he is offering an exclusive 15% off for this month only. Farmer Bill doesn't just sell beef, he sells biltong. What's biltong, you ask? It's beef jerky, but 10 times better. It's juicier and has perfect marbled fat, unlike store-bought jerky, which is lean and dry and loaded with sugar, soy, and nitrates. Farmer Bill's uses traditional methods, so his meat snacks are cured and air-dried the old-fashioned way. No nitrates, no sugar, no seed oils, no soy. And he sources all of his beef from South Dakota, supporting American ranchers, which keeps American farmlands out of the hands of Bill Gates and BlackRock. I recommend the bestseller bundle, which includes original bison, original beef, spicy beef, plus a half-pound original slab and a jar of his grass-fed tallow balm. The bestseller bundles ship for free, and you can use code FLECKUS15 at checkout for an additional 15% off. This deal will not last long. Support those who support the show. Get your meat snacks today. FarmerBillsProvisions.com is the website. Code FLECKUS15 at checkout, or you can click the link in the description below. Thank you for supporting Farmer Bill. Let's get into housekeeping.
Farmer Bill's Provisions, the perfect protein snack.
All right, thank you to Farmer Bill's for sponsoring.
Thank you, Farmer Bill.
We're eating a lot of Farmer Bills still, guys.
I just ate some before the show.
And he's sending us more. We love it. We eat it so much. All right, we have a great show today. It is not a Friday.
There you go.
It's Tuesday. We have a lot to get to. Packed housekeeping, great cringe, urban, uplifting. You know how the show goes.
Yeah.
All right, first things first. Can you read this?
Breaking, the Pentagon has just failed its 7th audit and says it cannot account for what its $824 billion budget is spent on.
All right, maybe we can just stop auditing the Pentagon because last time we did that, they did 9/11 to us.
Well, to be fair, yes, that they definitely failed that audit. But to be fair, I think they've failed a ton more in between, and they basically fail every year. And I don't know what happens. Like, I understand it a little bit. The secretive side of America needs to have a couple pallets of cash that go missing. But, like, isn't there a line item for that? Secret stuff? That was $50 billion? Like, what are they failing exactly?
Yeah.
That's where I'm confused. Like, oh, that's $25 billion and we can't even tell you.
Yeah.
Like, just say that, right?
That's what I don't understand either. And then, you know, you get them cornered like an animal. And it's like, oh, you want to focus on this? I'll give you something to focus on. Nuke!
Yeah, Oklahoma City bombing here. Boom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so keep an eye out for some sort of horrible event to happen now that the money's missing.
Yeah, in between now and inauguration would probably be a peak time to do it. But I don't know. And I don't get it. I don't understand why they can't just kind of say, yeah, that was secret. We can't tell you.
I think they do.
I know. I
think that's what.
But
I think
why
that's
have
what
the
this
audit?
is.
Why fail the audit? You know, like, oh, we shouldn't be audited. We're
Let's
doing
just
secret
stop
shit.
auditing these people.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into my favorite story of the whole housekeeping.
Okay.
MSNBC's ratings crash.
Yeah, they're cratering. Lots of articles on how MSNBC's audience has completely collapsed once Kamala lost and they got disillusioned. But the full extent is shocking. Their primetime shows can't even get 75,000 people watching in the key 18 to 54 demo. Weekend shows don't even get 30K.
So we get more views out of that same demo, and we're not played at the airport or at the gym or at the barbershop in the background. 20K on the weekend. I spit at that. That's pathetic.
I spit at that as well, but that's also a grim picture of someone who's like Saturday midday, like what am I up to? What are my plans? Farmers market? Nah, let's toss on MSNBC and listen to doom about Trump administration, right?
Let's get doom fried by Rachel Maddow reruns. And we get more views than them, and we don't even have obviously that budget. Like they have like probably tens of millions of dollars that go into each show. They have prime studio rentals in New York City. They have a whole camera crew, the lighting people, the sound people. They have makeup girls, writers,
interns, like off-scene people. You know, it's a lot.
Tons and tons of moving parts to make that operation run, and we get more views than them. And my co-host is someone named Richard Ratboy.
Yeah.
And we have Nick, the editor, who's faceless.
I know. It's pretty great. I mean, it's a sign of the times, right? That grip, that mainstream media grip is slipping. Alternative media is filling in the gap. And, you know, it's more fun here. We shoot from the hip. We have fun. Some things aren't even correct. You know?
We completely vibe it. And I think it's going to keep getting worse, too, because RFK mentioned that they are not going to allow big pharma ads on a lot of these cable news channels.
Wow.
So once that happens, you're going to really see a decline because right now it's not even news. It's just big pharma sponsored propaganda. And then big pharma, you know, tells their vision on the television. It's programming.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to do that anymore. And then what's going to happen? It's actually going to be a free market. And
free market go down.
Yeah, it's you're gonna have the last 20,000 people, and it's gonna go to zero.
Yeah, and there's something like, how can you be objective about COVID or the vaccine or anything like that when let's check who our biggest advertisers are? It's Pfizer. Great. I'm about to take a stand here. No, you're not. Right.
Exactly. All right, let's move on. Our next story. There's a new monkeypox strand potentially coming to America.
Well, it's already in America. U.S. health officials report first known case of new, more severe strain of monkeypox. And it's called, I think, Clade 3 or something like that. Oh, Clade 1 strain. And I want to point this out. This is more of a pure African play type monkeypox. This is, I think monkeypox is endemic in Africa all the time. And this is a new strain, fresh out of East Africa, and it hasn't been twinked up yet.
The Twinks will get to it.
It'll get to it. I'm positive. I'm positive they'll get to it. But
all you need is one twink.
I know.
And it goes.
It explodes in Western Europe, America. And by America, I mean LA, New York, San Fran, like those type of places. So if you're rural, you're probably safe. But this is, to me, looking more like the African Bushman type of monkeypox.
Interesting.
Not the homosexual.
And
not the Pete Buttigieg type monkeypox.
Yet. And they're kind of like baiting people into making like derogatory claims about the LGBTs because of monkeypox.
Who?
Just like in general, like when they put the monkeypox stuff out there, it's kind of like bait for certain people to make comments about gays. And I'm
getting hooked.
And I'll happily slurp that bait up and take it.
I'm like a Chinese fisherman. I'm slurping it up.
All right. There is another story that we just heard a couple hours ago. Trump is planning on using the military to get all of the illegals out.
Yeah. Reports are coming in that Donald Trump, his administration, is prepared to declare a national emergency and will use military assets to reverse the Biden invasion through a mass deportation program. Trump, quote, tweeted that on Truth Social and just goes, true.
Love to see it. That's what we need. That would be the best use of the military. It's defending our homeland from an invasion, which is completely true and in line with their job.
Yeah, and like a lot of times you'll see like a presidential administration kind of like lie or cook the books on a definition, try to get a technicality. And it's like, I'm sure Trump's lawyers are like, wow, this isn't even hard. This is a true dead textbook invasion.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is another thing where all the moderates or the Jason Calacanis of the world are like, oh, it's going to cost so much. We're already paying all these military people, Get him some practice on some operations, right?
And we already have all of like so many military assets, especially historically, in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Where is that defending our country's best interest? You know, so it's like if you already justified the spending for that, this should be a no-brainer. It's happening domestically.
Yep.
And then also just speaking in general, it feels like the tide is turning.
Yeah.
And Trump's not even in office yet, but things are already feeling a lot better, and things that aren't the most political seem to be kind of trending towards the right in general.
Like what examples?
Like the NFL players doing the Trump dance.
I noticed something about that. They're all doing this low Trump dance. Trump is up here. Everyone's doing this low one down here, and Trump's up here. So I don't know. Next
least
guy who
they're
scores a
doing it.
touchdown who likes Trump. Get it up.
Get it right.
Get it up here.
But yeah, there just seems to be a shift happening where people aren't scared to be maybe deemed right wing anymore. They're kind of just like living their life, and if they're right leaning, they're right leaning.
Yeah, which is kind of how it should be, right?
Yeah.
And then UFC, are we going to talk about UFC and uplifting gold or something?
Yes, we are.
But I mean, that went crazy. And Trump had mentioned going to that fight on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he said, if I lose the election somehow, I'll be depressed and I probably won't go. And if I win, I'll be there. He won, and that was crazy.
MSG went wild for him.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our next page of housekeeping, the political appointments section. So a lot of the Trump's appointments are going to be made during recess. There are going to be recess appointments.
Yeah, without Senate approval, basically.
Without Senate approval. And then we have a little bit of a back and forth. It sounds like Mitch McConnell was trying to snuff that, and then we're coming back over the top. Can you read that?
Yeah, Senator Mitch McConnell has just sent a message to President-elect Trump regarding his cabinet picks. McConnell, there will be no recess appointments.
Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
Fucking talking.
He's retired. Go off into the sunset. There's like that last John McCain. Everyone has that in them. That last little FU, deep state type thrash. You can't have power even though you just swept the country, right?
No one ever voted for Mitch McConnell.
That's the MSNBC difference. That's the yeah. Kentucky did a lot.
But then we had a response to that. It sounds like Trump's coming over the top and is going to do recess appointments.
Trump has sent word to Senate Majority Leader Thune that if the Senate doesn't confirm Attorney General Matt Gaetz, he will appoint him using the Federal Vacancies Reform Act of 1998, which allows for temporary appointments for up to 210 days, with a possible 210-day extension. Matt Gaetz would obviously not require Senate confirmation if that were to occur.
Good. Let's do that and let's run it.
Yeah.
And we're obviously keeping track of people, especially Republicans who are against Trump, RATs or rats. Mm-hmm. And then someone made a good point. We should call ourselves the certified rat checkers. And you kind of pronounce it with the same tone and affection as fact checker, rat checker. Mm-hmm. I'm a rat checker.
Yeah.
Feels good. We are rat checking.
We naturally were. We just didn't have the words on top of us.
Yeah.
Now we do. Now we've got some validity.
Exactly. And there's a new White House comms director, Steve Chung.
Yeah, the assistant comms director or something, and he's looking good.
And someone said you need to be fat retard maxing.
And you would know about that. You're kind of in on that.
I was built for fat retard maxing. And it falls under the henchman maxing umbrella.
For sure. And this kind of suit with the little tie, the back end of the tie coming out, you kind of like got the proportions wrong so it doesn't tuck into the back holder of the tie.
You're only wearing a suit because you need to wear a suit?
Exactly.
So you're like, I have to put a suit on.
You're not wearing a suit. Like, the suit is wearing you. And he is just a certain type of guy that I kind of respect. You show up in a suit like that, you go, close enough. It's kind of like the guy with male pattern baldness we were praising earlier. Like, he just goes, yeah, it's a horseshoe.
I'm not a suit guy. Suits are required. Here's me in a suit. Let's get something done. Forget the suit. Forget what I'm wearing.
Forget the suit. I'm the comms director. Listen to me right now. And that's the thing. Like, nobody who wears 40-30 is going to look good in a suit, right? So, you know.
Well,
Nobody.
I'm sure there's some exceptions.
And here's a funny tweet. Nope, zero exceptions. And here's a funny tweet about it from AJ Cortez. He said, Oriental heavy infantry physiognomy. Extreme stubbornness, high pain threshold, mission oriented.
Yeah, Genghis comms.
Genghis comms is what they're calling him online. So I like it.
Hey, it's good to see important people are watching the show and they're listening to the henchman maxing recommendations.
Yeah.
So that's huge. Kash Patel, we talked about this on the last episode. going to be the head of the FBI, potentially. Hasn't been officially announced yet. Is that correct?
I think Steve Bannon has basically officially announced it on his show, so we're rolling with it.
We're rolling with it, but the FBI isn't too excited about it. Can you read what they said in CNN?
Multiple sources familiar with the Trump transition process have expressed deep concerns about the possibility of Patel being named FBI director, where he would be well-positioned to try to investigate Trump's political enemies, declassify sensitive information, and purge career civil servants. Cash is frightening at the Bureau, one source said.
That's what I like.
Yeah. What? Wait, so the director of the FBI would be well-positioned to try to investigate X's political enemies? Wow, why does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
Why does that ring a bell? Has the FBI been investigating someone's political enemies for the last 8 years?
That's my type.
Crazy. Wow, shoes on the other foot now, and you get scared, right?
Feels good.
And, if you didn't break any rules, you never did engage in any partisan hackery,
There's no issues, you're good.
You'll be fine. And for those partisan hacks, you should take that early retirement while you can. Criminal charges will come later. Good luck.
And then we have Elon, who's going to be the head of the Department of Government Efficiency with Vivek. And he's been very active on X. He keeps saying the hammer of justice is coming.
He keeps autistically, the hammer of justice is coming.
He replies to everybody just saying the hammer of justice is coming.
Yeah, there will be consequences for those who pushed foreign interference hoaxes. The hammer of justice is coming. And good. I mean, and that's an indication of what they're talking about in the circle. All these tweets are from November 13th and beyond. Elon basically hasn't left Mar-a-Lago. He's constantly by Trump's side. Elon's a henchman right now. Mm-hmm. Elon took henchman maxing. He's kind of a boss and a henchman at the same time. He's this weird hybrid.
He's the boss of the henchmen.
Exactly. But he has the boss's ear, so that makes him a henchman. I don't know. It gets too technical and it starts to hurt when we try to think about it. But the point is, these are the discussions that he's been in on or hearing, or the vibe is vengeance, is what I'm kind of picking up, right?
Which is the revenge tour, which is what we've advocated for 5 years.
And we're not talking about weaponizing the Justice Department against, any random citizen. But if you guys were if you're a genital mutilating doctor somewhere, we're going to look real close. If you did foreign interference or pushed any hoaxes, we're going to look real close. All the people who did bad shit and should be worried. If you gave money to an NGO that led to this invasion, which is now a national emergency according to Trump, all the right people should be worried. And I have faith that our vengeance tour is going to be very targeted. Mm-hmm. Targeted airstrikes.
It's everyone who deserves it.
Yeah.
And then John Brennan, who used to run the CIA, he's worried that Tulsi Gabbard isn't going to be neutral and fair as head of DNI. Listen to what he said.
Let me just start with Tulsi Gabbard. What would having her in charge or in the role of Director of National Intelligence mean?
Well, I think there's so much uncertainty about what Ms. Gabbard would bring to the job. As you pointed out, she has been an apologist for Vladimir Putin and Bashar al-Assad. So many of her substantive comments, as well as previous actions, have called into question whether or not she has a good understanding of global politics and the U.S. role there. But also, she doesn't have any experience in intelligence. She has never served in the intelligence community. And the Director of National Intelligence is somebody who sits on top of the 18 departments and agencies and needs to orchestrate these agencies so that they collaborate, so that they coordinate, so that they're able to pursue the national security priorities in an effective fashion. So there's just a lot of responsibilities. And so the people, the professionals that are in these 18 intelligence agencies want to have confidence that the person who sits on top of them is going to be carrying out the duties in a qualified way, but also in a apolitical, objective fashion.
Apolitical, objective fashion. He said they need to orchestrate all the intelligence agencies. That's literally what they did to promote the Russia hoax.
Yeah.
And that's also what they did to discredit the Hunter Biden laptop story.
Yeah, were those political? I can't remember. It's crazy. And then he kind of said it earlier in the video too about she's not familiar with all these things. Like these long-standing intelligence community beefs that we have with Russia and different countries, Syria, that go back 50 years or something when we toppled the government. It's should we maybe move on from some of those?
Yeah, she doesn't know any of the deep state stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And it's good. That's the whole point. We don't want someone to do entrenched, stupid shit that kind of doesn't matter to the current administration's agenda. And, John Brennan, hey, I'd be worried about, where's Elon? Do we have an Elon tweet for John Brennan? The hammer of justice is coming? Probably not.
TikTok N-word. You're going down. You're going to jail. And then Trump had another appointee for nighttime.
Yeah, Trump appoints weird bug to be in charge of the nighttime.
I like that pick.
Yeah.
Weird
bug.
That thing knows nighttime.
Yeah, better than an owl.
Better than Pete Buttigieg or someone who's trams.
I know, so true. All right, hey, doesn't it feel good? And people are joking, or people are pointing out on leftist Twitter that a lot of Trump's cabinet are white men and white Christian men specifically. And doesn't it feel good to not have a single person like Kash Patel, an Indian guy, and he's just smart and he's loyal and he knows what he's doing. He knows where all the enemies are. And like, we don't care. We know he's not getting something because he's a gay black woman or something.
Or he wears a dress, so we got to put him on
have
camera.
to give him FBI. We got to give him the FBI. It feels so good to not have any of those people. And,
Exactly.
It's just a timeline appreciation.
And obviously, the HHS pick is RFK. He got fact-checked by the New York Times, I believe.
Yeah.
Because he was talking about the ingredients and how they're different in America for Fruit Loops. How the Fruit Loop ingredients are different in America versus Europe. And then they actually fact-checked him, and here's what they said about it.
Mr. Kennedy has singled out Fruit Loops as an example of a product with too many artificial ingredients, questioning why the Canadian version has fewer than the U.S. version. But he was wrong. The ingredient list is roughly the same. Although Canada's has natural colorings made from blueberries and carrots, while the U.S. product contains red dye 40, yellow 5, and blue 1, as well as butylated hydroxytoluene, or BHT, a lab-made chemical that is used for freshness, according to the ingredient label.
So he lied about that. We have red 40 and yellow 5 in it, which
That's
makes kids
all the stuff. That's the stuff he's talking about, and they list it. It's crazy. Are some of these journalists just retarded and they don't?
I don't know. Well, and then the headline's probably like fact check RFK misleading about Fruit Loops or whatever.
Yeah.
Red, that's it. The red dye.
That's the shit we're talking about. Why is Canada and America different?
Kids eat that stuff and they go off the wall. They get fucked up.
I was raised on cereal.
It probably was different when we were eating it, to be honest.
I don't know. I
And then
kind of went off the wall on that shit too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went crazy.
And then Fruit Loops is spelled F-R-O-O-T.
Yeah.
Loops.
Because they obviously legally have some sort of thing where they can't say fruit.
It's not fruit. And then I saw this tweet that I thought was funny. If RFK bans Diet Coke, I will make January 6th look like a Girl Scout meeting.
Yeah.
That's true.
A lot of ladies love Diet Coke.
Yeah, and me.
I love Diet Coke too, yeah.
Trump. And
Women
then,
seem to be more passionate, though. Women defend it. I just rip them.
hey, tell them about the other day. I had a Diet Coke and Fresca record.
Yeah.
I don't want to say how many, but I got a 12-pack, and Rap Boy said he drank 2. And that was in one day.
That's 10.
Not good.
That's 10.
All right, last RFK meme.
Get invited to dinner with coworkers. Ask if they're serving goy slop or zog chow. They don't understand. Pull out illustrated diagram showing the difference between goy slop and zog chow. Haha, it's a good dinner, bro. Agree to go to the dinner. It's zog chow.
I think that's funny.
That is funny. Those are good words.
Thank you. All right, we're moving on.
Make it?
I found it.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's curation is still a skill.
All right. Okay.
You can't go out and make all this.
Calm down.
You gotta find what's worth it and what makes for a good show.
That's true.
And then you get more views on MSNBC.
Easily.
All right, let's get into our serious part of housekeeping. Justin Biden has authorized the use. All right, you read it.
Biden has authorized the use of U.S. supplied long-range missiles by Ukraine for strikes inside Russia, according to the New York Times.
Thanks. Great. So they're trying to start World War III on the way out.
Yep.
And then Putin, this has subtitles, so you guys are going to have to read along. But we got right to the point. This is what Putin's response to that was.
It says the second and very important, maybe the key, is that only NATO servicemen can in fact enter flight assignments into these missile systems. Ukrainian servicemen cannot do this. And so this is not about allowing the Ukrainian regime to strike Russia with these weapons or not. It is about deciding whether NATO countries are directly involved in a military conflict or not.
Exactly. So basically the whole point is if these long-range missiles were used, it would be a NATO strike, not a Ukraine strike. And if it's a NATO strike, that would justify nuclear weapons, I believe, according to Putin.
Yeah.
And it would be World War III.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of the whole point of this whole game. Putin understands the game. Everybody knows about international relations between nuclear powers, and it's kind of just everybody chill out. Nobody wants to escalate this, but I will threaten to escalate this if you do something that's worth threatening to escalate it. And it goes round and round, and then he can wage a slight little invasion and ground war into Ukraine because that's unprotected. And that's how we got here, you know?
But hopefully they remember that Trump's coming back into power in a couple months. Let's get back onto good behavior.
Yeah, and I mean, has Trump spoken to Putin directly? So
I believe they have. I believe he spoke to Putin and Zelensky.
And we know he's spoken to Zelensky, so, you know, let's everybody calm down, and hopefully Joe Biden. And then also it's like Joe Biden has authorized, and it's like, okay, who on Joe Biden's staff asked for his signature for this piece of paper, right? Because we know that guy's still retarded, although he got a little pep in his step once Trump won. But he still is kind of brain dead. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he's making these last-second international relation decisions.
Which of his handlers did this?
Exactly.
Well, let's get into our next story. The left is still trying to figure out what happened with the election and why, you know, alternative media is on the rise. And they're trying to figure out why they don't have their own version of Joe Rogan on the Democrat side.
We don't have when a man is just lost and lonely and not yet radicalized, we don't have the equivalent of Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson to move that man in a feminist direction. By the way, we should educate men that it's actually really great to live with a strong woman who makes money. It's actually easier. Life is easier.
But they shouldn't sell themselves short. They have Pete Buttigieg, Dylan Mulvaney, the luggage twink.
I know, they have all those. No, unfortunately, I think none of those guys have a show.
Oh, that's the problem.
That's their problem, yeah.
But they're trying to figure out why men don't like to be feminized by gays and women. And obviously the reason Joe Rogan is appealing is because it's in a man's nature to improve.
Yeah.
And then they're kind of pretending like, oh, men only like hunting and working out and UFC because they heard it on a podcast.
Yeah, because Joe Rogan influenced them to do that. He collected all their emails and got them to like watch a podcast once. And then he goes, okay, now that I have you here, let me pitch you on hunting, eating meat, psychedelics, mixed martial arts, all these weird eclectic hobbies from all the guests he has. And they're working their way backwards to it. It's like, no, Joe Rogan is a kind of an average man with the average man interests. And then all these average men who are predisposed to all these interests found him. And they go, oh, okay, this is really well produced. And they do it every day. And there's huge guests. And then it takes off like a fucking rocket ship. And this is a common theme for leftists. A lot of people have been talking about their own Joe Rogan. And Rogan gets like 11 million views on a podcast. Guests like Trump will have like 25, 30, big guests outperform. And you can't create that in a lab. It's like a naturally occurring thing that happened with Joe Rogan.
But the left is so used to manufacturing stuff like this, like media, that they're like, how come we can't just make an 11 million person show about men being weaker and more like a girl?
Yeah, why can't we get in? Basically, it all boils down to where's our audience of 15 million viewers that we can talk about abortion and like being feminist, right? And it's like, yeah, guys, I got bad news for you. That's never going to develop. It's going to be the crazy open, hold the eyes open movie scene.
Yeah, where are those men? They're gay and they're sucking each other in West Hollywood.
And they're already voting for you. They're just a tiny percent of the electorate, so it doesn't really matter.
And there's a key difference, too. Like, they mentioned Jordan Peterson. And, like, Jordan Peterson's thing is, like, as a man, you find the biggest burden you can bear and you bear it. Mm-hmm. Versus this Indian guy who's saying, oh, you should just hang out at home and let your wife make a lot of money. That's great. And then even if you did think of the world like that, women don't want to be with a non-successful man who's not motivated, who's not acting like a man.
Yeah, they start seeing you hang around. You don't get dressed and go somewhere every morning. They start to get disgusted.
Then you're making all the money, and then they cheat on you.
Then they schedule the jiu-jitsu appointment, and then they cheat on you.
Yeah, I'm going to be rolling around with my jiu-jitsu coach later. You're in a large T-shirt and underwear.
You're playing video games or something. Goodbye. And, we joked even Tom Brady got cheated on. What are you going to do? You got your little Bushwick apartment.
Exactly.
You're going to get stomped out.
But the good news is woke does seem to be dying. Elon posted a graph that kind of shows that. Can you read and then show the graph?
It says, for the first time in at least 80 years, voters associate the Democrats more with sociocultural issues than with class and economic solidarity. And I think this is something that we've all felt and vibed out, but it's nice to see it kind of represented in data. Like, if you remember the classic Democrat, it used to be like unions and workers' rights and
free speech.
Yeah, free speech was classic. But this is specifically the economic portion of it. And then now they're just whining about like Latino people or blacks or trans stuff. And it's like, it simply doesn't resonate with the average voter. And it's shooting themselves in the foot, right? And then they go, why can't we get 15 million viewers on our Joe Rogan? Where's our Joe Rogan? You guys already have one. And it's like, you guys aren't appealing to anybody. They're trying to propagandize instead of like develop an audience or something. And then you already took over NPR. Mm-hmm. Like you take over, that's national public radio. It's all leftist.
Yeah, and then you also had 4 years in power where you ruined everything. So people are like experiencing firsthand the effects of your policies. It's getting bad. There's all these illegals here, crimes here, drugs and homeless people are going crazy. You can't buy a house. Inflation's bad.
Yeah.
And then you're saying, oh, we need to help like black trans women. But, you know, that would be something you do when like times are too good.
Yeah.
They've already created the bad times.
Hey, everyone has a lake house. Should we help the trans black woman now?
Yeah.
Even I'd be like,
How much do they
give her a leg up.
Write them a check. What do they need? Everything
She, her, got it. I'm going to be at the lake. That's kind of like very true. And we're obviously not at that point where caring about socio-cultural issues matter more than the economy. Mm-hmm. And we're going to play a clip from John Oliver.
Who's almost there, Joe Rogan. But because of HBO
and this is who they want to have 15 million views an episode. This is what they do. If they had an audience of 15 million, this is the shit they'd show you.
Ads on that one issue. And it was frustrating to see the Harris campaign fail to formulate a response, especially because it's pretty easy to do. Watch, I'll do it for you right now. As we've discussed before, there are vanishingly few trans girls competing in high schools anywhere. Even if there were more, trans kids, like all kids, vary in athletic ability, and there is no evidence they pose any threat to safety or fairness. It is very weird for you to be so focused on this subject. And finally, if you genuinely want to address the biggest concern for most girls who play high school sports, you'd be less worried about this and more about the creepy assistant volleyball coach who keeps liking their posts on fucking Instagram.
So they still don't get it.
He's doubling down on trans stuff. That's what they do. If they got you all in a room, all you Joe Rogan listeners, all 15 million of you, they'd start lecturing you about trans stuff. And then you'd go away, and then they'd go, what happened to our Joe Rogan show? Then nobody came back.
And then they were making like a joke about the taxpayer-funded sex change operations for criminals in jail. That was real. That happened. And then he says, oh, there's no evidence that trans people perform any different in sports. We show videos all the time of the trans girl slamming the ball in volleyball and knocking a girl out, or the boxer from the Olympics killing everybody. There's plenty of evidence. We show it monthly.
And then John Oliver is like, making this false equivalency, like, oh, you shouldn't be worried about trans people. You should be worried about this pervy gym coach. And it's like, yeah, we're that too, where it's not choosing between trans people. And then there's the line like, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, or, however that goes. And it's like, so all the adults seeing the guy play in the women's volleyball team goes, hey, we got to stop this. And John Oliver goes, that's only happening in extremely few places.
Even though there's videos every week.
That doesn't help my daughter right now on the other team, right? So these guys are retarded, and that's why they'll never have a young male audience. It's not you can have some version. It's just got to be a normal, regular guy. There are some online, like the leftist debaters online. They just cater to a certain type of thinking from a certain type of guy. It's like a chicken or the egg thing where the mentality of that person finds a content creator who matches their mentality. And then what happens in nature is there's more like red-blooded, pretty high regular testosterone guys, and they'll all go to one spot. And even like the lower or mid testosterone, they want to go to that spot. They have like that goal. and only the real pussies find something else, right?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So it's like a biological imperative that happens before anybody gets assigned to Joe Rogan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. They have the idea that men are just a blank canvas, and whatever you tell them, then they'll like. Yep. Good thing it wasn't Barbies. Good thing Joe Rogan's not talking about Barbies.
Exactly.
Speaking of people who didn't learn any lessons and are throwing their reputations away, remember Ann Seltzer, the pollster who was considered the gold standard of polling, and then she had that weird Iowa poll, and then she basically said that Kamala was going to win, and what ended up happening?
Yeah, her final Iowa poll was Harris +3, and she tried to justify it. The final result was Trump +13, an error of 16 points. And she was previously the gold standard of polling, and she is now retired.
So on the way out.
Breaking people. Trump breaks people left and right. This highly regarded pollster. Toodles. One last ride, and then it's just getting off the cliff. Horrible.
And the same thing happened to Obama, too. There was a Daily Mail article that said Obama's biographer reveals ex-president fears for his legacy after tone-deaf preaching harmed Harris campaign.
Yeah.
And that's exactly true. And then Joe Rogan said the same thing, that he lost a ton of respect for Obama after he went out there and did the Charlottesville hoax, find people on both sides. Everyone was kind of just done with Obama after that. So he really blew himself up for nothing.
And there's actually a fight, or not necessarily a fight right now. I just saw a tweet from AOC because I'm liking to keep tabs on the way the Democratic Party is trying to move forward and rebuild. And she kind of cautioned her own party against letting the Obama era staffers kind of like just get in the background and rebuild. And, they've lost a lot of elections at this point now, the Obama era people. And I think Hillary had a mostly different staff, but a lot of these people obviously overlap. They come and try to get the same jobs or like in a new administration, one level higher. So it's interesting to see. I think people are losing faith in that Obama style thing. And they're playing a playbook from when the country was kind of in way less turmoil and way less despair is what I would say.
Exactly, and they're trying to continue that, and you can't do that in bad times.
The game has changed, and the players are the same, and not in a good way.
Yeah, the game changed bad, and then the people who did it are still like, keep voting for us. It's not going to work.
Yep.
Well, which takes us to our final page of housekeeping. Make sure you guys tickle the post, help us juice the algo, leave a like, leave a comment again, then start yapping. Notifications need to be on, P.O. Box needs to be full, and old episodes need to be watched.
Yeah.
Pretty smooth one. We got alien footage.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm getting bombarded by what's real, what's fake. I have no discernment anymore. AI is so prevalent.
We're going to go through quick.
Okay.
First, there's an article from the New York Post about a commercial plane had near miss with UFO near New York. Pentagon reveals.
Pentagon, they can get that right. They can't tell you their fucking budget, where the money went, but they can say, oh yeah, aliens.
And then we have we're going to go fast through all these, but here we have some aliens.
Over Miami right now. That is seriously weird. We've got some decent cloud cover, but what the hell would be creating those lights like that? Look, you see there's like one in the distance.
Weird lights.
What would be creating those lights? Here's another one.
Look, nothing in the sky at all. Then all of a sudden, bam, what is that? Anybody tell me what that is?
Two orbs out of an airplane. That's weird. Next. We can go faster.
Okay, all right.
So this jet is coming, and then out of the water area comes an orb and almost hits it. That's weird.
All right.
Next, this is from a live TV show.
What is that?
Fireworks or something.
Aliens? I don't know.
What the heck
What is that?
So they had that going on TV. And then we have this plasma orb.
How do you know that? Plasma orb. I'll let it play. Okay. Looks like something. See, what am I supposed to think of this?
It looks like a plasma orb. And then what's our last one?
This looks like the MH370, the Malaysian Airlines one, right?
Getting zapped away, yeah.
This is the video we mentioned last episode.
This is MH370, the missing Malaysian Airlines. And watch as the three UFOs that in perfect triangular formation come right around MH370. And zoom right here. Here, there's the second one. And here the third UFO comes in. And then you'll watch as then, of course, using this etheric energy, the 0-point technologies, make the craft disappear. And so the United States government is responsible for this. Watch as then the airliner disappears. Right here, I believe. Right after this cloud. Watch. Here we go. This is an unbelievable video. And it's been confirmed. This is 10-year-old video, by the way. There we go. Disappears. And that aircraft, of course.
That looks Star Trek, that zap.
Well, it looked like it was a zap. They zapped it out. And, you know, whatever you think is, maybe isn't. I don't know if you ever tried to drink vanilla extract. It's kind of the same theme there. It smells nice. It looks nice. So you drink it. Tastes bad.
Poisons you. Too much. Too concentrated.
And then also, as we mentioned in our last episode, that these crafts can do crazy G-forces. Like a human can only go up to like 9 Gs, and these crafts are doing like 3,000 Gs.
Tom Cruise can pull 10 Gs.
10 Gs for Tom Cruise. 3,000 for the aliens. And it makes me wonder, are we just like too slow? Like we're slow and they're just going, they're all scrambled. They would scramble us. And maybe we're like Amish to the aliens. Maybe they see us as Amish.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't know what they're up to. They got to be watching Elon Musk closely.
Yeah.
They got to say, what's this guy launching? He's launching a lot of shit.
Maybe he's launching stuff for trading with them. And then that's why the rockets need to come back.
Maybe he's an alien.
He could be.
Yeah.
These are all good points. Can you read this meme? We're going to go fast through the rest.
You wouldn't use that Ouija board if you knew how much water it takes to cool the data center where they store the demons.
Makes sense.
All right.
And obviously some of those aliens could have been AI, so I always like to put an image that AI can't recreate or create. AI can't do this, can't create this. This is beauty raw.
Little blonde kid holding up a squirrel while his mom is getting carted away by an ambulance while smoking a cigarette.
Very cool.
That's classic. That's Americana.
All right, we're going to finish the final page of Housekeeping Strong. Can you read this?
This rare orchid known as the flower of the Holy Spirit only blooms once a year. Before blooming, it looks like praying saints. And once it blooms, it turns into a flying dove.
Very pleasant.
That is nice.
Isn't that good?
Yeah.
And then next, I've been having an issue. A lot of people are sending me pictures of the Indian bison, which is one of the most muscular animals on the planet.
Yeah.
And they're saying, oh, this is like Fleckus. This is like you. It looks like you, Fleckus type. Guys, please stop sending me this because my DMs
clogs up the inbox, right?
It's like every single DM is like, Fleckus, you remind me of this one of the most muscular animals on the planet. You're eating Farmer Bill's.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So just please leave me alone.
Farmer Bill would cook that guy up.
Yeah.
He'd let us eat that.
And then when you eat a strong animal, what do you become?
Yeah.
Stronger animal.
But then again, I know a lot of bodybuilders who live just on chicken. And that's they don't go bok bok.
They probably take steroids.
Around. That's true. That's true.
All right, next. So next, I think is this your pick? Is this?
No, you put this in there. I was done this week, but you put this in, and I think you were planning on pinning it on me. So let's play what you chose this week. There he is. Flashlight's a nice touch for these AI videos.
It's clearly fake.
Yeah.
It's probably just like a weird deer.
Yeah.
And then, my last point, Reba
McEntire, the country lady.
She can go forever.
Yeah. She'll outlive me.
Her and Dolly Parton are on a similar archetype timeline thing, and she can just crank it out, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Reba's a workhorse.
For sure.
All right. That's the end of Housekeeping. Moving on to Cringe of the Week. All right, our first clip of Cringe of the Week is this woman who's buzzing her head because of Trump. And can you read what it says?
When this is the only thing we have left to control ourselves. And this has been a trend. We will continue to fight and stand with every woman and minority.
And then we fast forward to the end.
We will not bow down. We will not give up.
She buzzes her head completely.
Yeah. And she has her henchman do it in the hoodie so that she's more powerful.
It's a lesbian, and at the end they kiss.
Looking like Demi Moore or something, and they kiss, yeah. So
it's not safe in America because Trump is taking away abortions, even though he just brought it back to the states and let them decide. So the people of each state decided, and pretty much every state said, yes, we're going to keep abortions except for Florida. So they're buzzing their head because they're mad at Trump because Florida decided no to abortion.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, Florida was like the one state that had it on the ballot, and they needed 60%. Over 50% voted for it, too.
Yeah.
So they just needed to overcome a little bit more. And, if you're in Florida, probably go somewhere else. We're running you out of town. This is a red state now, Get out.
And then there's a meme that goes along with this. Can you read it?
I'm going to do whatever I can to be unattractive to cis men. And then someone says, I honestly thought that's what you've been doing all along.
Yeah. So it's like you get one life and you're going to make yourself as ugly as possible because you believed lies about Trump.
Yeah.
And then if Trump is so bad and actually going to ruin your life, why wouldn't you flee the country?
Yeah, it's all talk and virtue signaling, which has been a broad theme of these childish, antics or whatever from all these women. It's like it's a half measure. It's like half thing. And that's kind of been a point where Cernovich has this argument where he talks about the pro-abortion people, because for a while the pro-abortion electorate or like the pro-life big advocates on Twitter were all shitting on Trump, which is fair. I get it. If that's your one issue that you really love and you're dumping on Trump, when he was kind of moderating and saying, I sent it back to the states, it's up to the states, he would say, like, you guys aren't serious. You're just like chirping on Twitter. If you were really serious, you'd go like and be stopping a Planned Parenthood. You'd go and like, what they used to do in the 90s? Dark, it's bombs and all the crazy shit. It's like, you aren't actually that passionate about it. You just want to complain. And that's the vibe that I'm getting from these women.
They need better hobbies.
I guess, or something to take up the time, because they're not really serious. They're doing these little half measures. It's all social media related. And then like this woman shaves her head, then she goes into work. Oh, hey, Deb, what happened? Oh, I made an emotional decision last night so I could film it with my lesbian girlfriend. And then,
Trump's trying to kill me.
People on Twitter would like it or something. I don't know. It's all little kid outbursts.
Mm-hmm. Which takes us to our next story. I think this is Mark Cuban, and he's talking about Woke 2.0.
If you thought we were woke before, you done went and woke the beast. Welcome to Woke 2.0. All my woke warriors, give me a blue heart and share.
Wow.
That's who the left's Joe Rogan would be.
Yeah.
It'd be someone who looks like that. And then they'd go, oh, yeah, I could listen to this Rachel Maddow type, Mark Cuban hybrid.
Yeah, I hope this Mark Cuban type keeps it going and they keep doubling down on woke, because everyone has made it very clear that obscure social issues that affect less than 1% of the population are not what we're voting about.
Yeah.
It's like very easy. Everyone wants to buy a house, have a family, keep more money, not get assaulted by a criminal.
Not have infinity illegal immigrants here. That's it. It's really simple to keep. And that's why I keep laughing about how the Democrats overplayed their hand. Is it was very simple to not do a few of those key things, and then you would have had a leg to stand on, right?
Mm-hmm.
The managed decline, it got unmanaged,
It got declined too fast.
Yep.
Next is a woman who's making her holiday plan based on politics.
And to preface this video, she has trans in her username. It's trans loving mama.
Well, it's happening. The family wants to know what I'm doing for the holidays. I'm going to be here with my dogs and my daughter, who is of childbearing age and now has to get an IUD at 17 years old. And I'm going to be here with my son, who is a political target. And that should really tell you all you need to know about why I'm not going to be hanging out with y'all for the holidays. So fuck off. Choke on your turkey. Bye.
Yeah. So you know that saying, trans son or hoe daughter?
Mm-hmm.
Psycho mom gets both.
I know. That's how it turns out.
And then I was going to say, she really must hate her husband, whoever the father of the children are. And this is all just like an elaborate scheme to destroy the children of the man she hates so much. That's my theory.
There could be some motivation there. I'm less, because that's a pretty big thing to do. It might be a small piece of it, but I think it's just social acceptance, and like she wants to be in a group, and there's a lot of pressure for these leftist women to like separate themselves. Like you saw the other lady cutting her hair. This one's like, yeah, I'll just encourage my daughter to become my son, And lady, I just want to check in with you, make sure you're getting that son of yours, the political target, make sure he gets his IUD too, because he can get pregnant still.
Yeah, and then like that lady's saying that LGBTs are under attack or whatever. Meanwhile, gays these days are gayer than ever. Like they're doing whatever they want. There was actually a situation where a basketball player said no homo. We have the clip here, and he got fined $100K.
You said that last play when he took the shot? Yeah, we loaded up. No homo. But that's what we wanted. Put the hand up and then just live with the...
So he goes, no homo.
We loaded up? It's no homo? It wasn't even gay.
And then he got fined $100K. So I think you're good. I think no one's under attack, and whenever someone gets close, all of society cracks down on them.
Yeah, remember the kids on scooters who went over that gay Seattle crosswalk and like they got hunted down? I think you guys are good.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Trump's not doing anything. Also, there is no homo inflation in the FBI. Players have been fined for this exact phrase in the past. Nikola Jokic, $25K. Cam Thomas, $40K. Roy Hibbert, $75K. So now we're at $100K for no homo.
Going up.
No homo.
That chart should tell you everything you need to know.
Crazy.
Next, we have a deranged teacher who lost her job, and she's crying on TV when they're going over what she said. But at the end of the clip, they show her original video.
If you voted for Trump, literally, please delete me, block me, get rid of everything of me, or step to me so that I know what's up and then I can handle you how I see fit. Just because you won doesn't mean we don't remember who the blank you voted for. You're not in the clear. Please, please don't test your gangster on me because you will end on a stretcher, gone forever. What does that mean exactly?
Yeah, so that
it sounds like a threat.
It sounds very extreme. And again, I was in a moment of high emotions and I shouldn't have ever posted the video. But what the message I was trying to get across, and it came off very wrong, was, if this is going to give people the almost permission in their minds to enact violence against women or anybody, I wanted to basically just say, I'm not going to go down without a fight. I mean, it's my life's dream to be a teacher. I consider those kids my kids because I don't have any of my own. And they fill that for me. And it's so fulfilling. It's so rewarding. And I know that what people see right now, I don't look like that person, but
Yeah, so unstable nut. And then she said that the reason she posted that was because she thought people were going to have permission to get violent, which is exactly what she did.
So I'll get violent first. I'll beat them to the punch.
And then when no one's getting violent with you, it's just you being violent. And here you are on TV. And we actually have the clip of the source video for this.
Just because you won doesn't mean we don't remember who the you voted for. You're not in the clear. And just please, please don't test your gangster on me because you will end on a stretcher, gone forever.
So I'm sure she's fair to the students that have conservative parents.
Yeah. And here's the thing, too, in terms of the fake or performative thing. Fake apology, fake original video. Nobody's getting stretchered. She doesn't body anybody. Nobody goes down. She's like a middle-aged woman teacher named Annie Dunleavy. This is Annie Dunleavy. She's some Irish type who went a little crazy. She's watching MSNBC at Saturday at 3 p.m., that time slot nobody fucking watches. She went cuckoo. And that's the thing is neither of these, it's not a legitimate apology. She still believes all those things. And then her threats are empty, right?
She's just mad she got caught.
She's mad she got caught and she's begging to keep her job as a teacher. She wants, those kids are her life. And what am I going to do without those kids? Nothing. So it's crazy that people like this, it should be just fired. You should be gone, move on. You can find another job. Start back up at substituting somewhere. You'll get on a short leash, go on probation at a different school district, and then learn your lesson. That's the thing. Nobody ever learns a lesson. I'm not saying this woman should never be a teacher again, but you got to give her a boom. You got to pop her. Soccer, pal.
Metaphorically speaking.
Professionally, yes, of course. You got to give her a black eye on the resume. You know what I mean?
Exactly. All right. Next is a clip from a woman who found out one of her coworkers was conservative.
Today that somebody that I work with is a conservative, and he's somebody who's really intelligent, and he's somebody who works in climate tech as a super smart guy, somebody I would never have thought was conservative, and apparently he is. And it's surprising and it's disgusting, but what's most surprising to me is the level of sudden hatred that I have for him. Sudden hatred for this man who I used to respect suddenly just went boop, and I fucking hate him now. It's not about politics, it's about morals. And if you are not a person of morals and you are educated enough to fucking know better, I think I hate you. I know we still have to get through.
It's about morals, and you hate Trump because he's not letting us kill the babies as easily.
Yeah, and her morals are all politics. They conflated the two. A lot of these types of people, that's all they know. Left side good, right side mean, right side bad. Couldn't possibly care about the economy or like issues that personally affect you instead of the downtrodden trans black lesbian, you know?
Mm-hmm. An overarching thing we see here is the left always assumes everyone's on their side. Yeah. And they're always talking to other leftists, and there's, how could anyone vote for Trump? But the right, we were born in the darkness. We don't talk about politics in the open at work or at school, but then we hear things when someone's like, oh man, this repeat offender got arrested and he just assaulted someone again.
Then you make eye contact, you let it linger, you go, you too? You conservative, you know?
We should lock the criminals up, right? Yeah.
Crazy they keep letting them out. You say like something soft first, kind of touch base. Yeah, and
we have to operate with dog whistles.
Absolutely. And I was talking to someone over the weekend who was telling me a story about how a person, they live in the suburbs of Chicago, or actually they live in the city of Chicago, and it was some woman talking to her and saying like, oh, hey, like, yeah, I can't believe so many people around here voted for him. And wow, that's crazy, right? They're probably like everywhere. You don't even know who they are. And she's telling this to someone who voted for Trump in the city of Chicago, going like, yeah, great job. So they have no like instincts. They have no, there's a baseline assumption that everyone around thinks exactly like me. And then they have no ability to discern who may or may not have been a Trump voter or who may or may not be right wing. And like you said, we were born in the darkness. We've been discerning and hiding our thoughts from the weird fat lady in HR for 8 years now. We know. And these people are finally coming around to like, wait, whoa, I'm not the vast majority of people. And it's kind of fun to see. This girl, the funniest part is, oh, this smart, brilliant, nice guy who I work with. And now I hate him. She hates him. Nothing about her opinion on conservatives or who they can be changed. It's just, oh, gotta hate him now. Mm-hmm. It's not like, well, maybe they're not all bad. This guy's so nice and professional and smart. And if he thinks that, there must be something to it. Nope. He's completely written off, and he's an immoral, evil man, right?
Gotta hate him. Gotta be obedient to the Democrat Party. And then for them, it's like obedience is their virtue.
Of course.
So they're obedient and not to a God. If you were obedient to God, that would be more like right-leaning. You're obedient to the Democrat Party, which is being like obedient to Baal, which is the child sacrifice demon that reigns over America.
That was a little far, I guess, but I'll let you have it. But also, they're obedient to something that changes every 6 months, every 3 years, every once in a while. There's a new rule and a new thing. And part of that is how much you comply with it, you know? Mm-hmm. You got to switch. You got to change. You learn new things, right?
All right, our last clip of Cringe is pure cringe, nothing to do with politics. Just this guy eating worms in sushi.
Keith Lee went to Fob Sushi in Seattle, Washington recently. I have to warn you, this is disgusting. He gave this sashimi a rating of 8.5 out of 10. I warned you. Look at the bottom corner here, okay? What's that? What's that? Oh, what is that? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna insert a little clip.
As a sashimi?
Worm.
I looked into this a little bit, and it seems like, I hate to tell you, but a lot of fish have worms, and you're supposed to freeze fish before you present it for sushi.
We get it. The guy's eating worms.
He's eating worms, and it's at like a nice restaurant or a place that like is a sushi bar. Like a sushi bar should know and have all the standards to sell and freeze and do all the appropriate things so that you don't have worms.
Exactly. And then we talk about detoxing on the show and health things. And a lot of people who watch want to get the worms and parasites out of their body, as they should. But worms and parasites, They live in toxic environments. They're often surrounded by like heavy metals and toxins. So there is a thing that you need to know, that if you do get rid of the worms and you kill them off, they're still going to release waste and the toxins that they're surrounded with and heavy metals. So if you don't take binders after you kill them, the toxins and waste and heavy metals will go into your liver, then get redistributed into your gut, and then redistributed throughout your whole body. So you have to make sure if you kill the worms and parasites that you take binders right after to bag up all the bad stuff that came with them and get them out of your system. You can't just kill them, because then you can get different sick.
All right, man.
All right. Hey, you read that thing about chelators and stuff like that from RFK?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. From RFK when he was talking about what he wants to do. A lot of those things were involved in detox.
All right, brother.
All right, next we are in Urban Decay. Our first story, we have an update from the Laken Riley murderer. The roommate of the murderer took the stand and he testified. Can you read what he said? Can you read what they said?
Yeah, it said the roommate of Laken Riley's killer just testified during his trial that they went to the Roosevelt Hotel together, the famous migrant hotel in New York, in September 2023 and received a taxpayer-funded flight to Georgia. Your government flew an illegal gang member to Georgia with your money, where he then proceeded to brutally murder an innocent girl. And do you want to play some of this? The only reason I would want to play some of this from the court is just take a look at how the trial is proceeding.
How did you get to Athens?
¿Y cómo llegaron a Athens?
En Nueva York pedimos en Manhattan.
In New York, we asked in Manhattan.
En el Hotel Roosevelt.
And Hotel Roosevelt.
Get him out.
Translators, just lock this guy up. He doesn't. Does a Mexican national or wherever this guy's from, does an illegal immigrant have the right to a fair and speedy trial? Why don't we just fucking lock him up?
I don't even want to say what we should just do.
Yeah.
All right, next.
I'm a death penalty guy. I mean, I'm a pro-death penalty
He killed
guy.
somebody.
Yeah.
1 for 1.
1 for 1. Eye for an eye. That's as old as time, brother.
Unless it's self-defense or in the interest of protecting the public, like what happened with Daniel Penny and Jordan Neely.
Yeah. Daniel Penny chokehold caused Jordan Neely death, even if homeless man had enough drugs in his system to, quote, put down an elephant, the medical examiner testified. So
George Floyd, too.
To be fair, I think he did choke him to death. But
I heard he had a pulse after the chokehold was released.
I've heard that too. But I just want to read a little bit more of this because to me, if you watched a video of this happening and Jordan Neely choking out the guy and you go, yeah, it looks like he choked him. You could be a guy on the couch being like, yeah, it looks like he died from choking. The medical examiner shouldn't be saying phrases like enough drugs to take down an elephant. So here, after watching it, this is the medical examiner. After watching it, I had no further questions about how he was dead, she testified. Harris said, yeah, she's a lady, white lady. Harris said that she reached her conclusion before receiving Neely's toxicology report. The report ultimately showed that Neely, who jurors have heard had a history of abusing the synthetic marijuana drug K2, had the drug in his system when he died. But Harris said that she would have found the chokehold caused Neely's death even if it turned out he had enough fentanyl in his system to put down an elephant.
So it's George Floyd too, and I'm sure in the coming weeks we'll see a clip of the actual choking, and they won't show what happened before. It'll just be like the most intense part of the choking, and then everyone's going to get mad if Daniel Penny gets let off, which he should.
Yeah, but it's just like extremely unprofessional medical examiner thing. Like, I'm just doing this before the toxicology report comes out. It's like enough to kill an elephant? Enough fentanyl? That wouldn't change anything, lady. That wouldn't change the culpability even 1%. So just fascinating. Miscarriage of justice. But I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. I obviously just hope that one goes well.
Yeah. All we need is one person, and I don't think the state of New York would keep trying that case. I don't know. You know how sometimes they would have to do another trial. A lot of times the decision just kind of falls off. They don't pursue it again.
I hope.
Yeah.
All right, next we have the New Orleans police chief doing a press conference. And listen in the background and tell me what you hear.
And we would like them to call, if they aren't comfortable calling us, please call Crime Stoppers. And I actually know the number here, but I wanted to confirm it. But that number for Crime Stoppers is 822-1111. So 822-1111. with this many people out here, we do know that someone probably has some more.
Someone's letting that thing talk in the background.
Yeah, it's a little tough to hear, but there's multiple volleys of gunshots going on, and you could see the police behind her react, looking around. Who's shooting? Are we in danger? Another one? Maybe stop pumping Crime Stoppers and go do something about it.
Maybe it's some people that have been arrested a million times before. And that police chief, Ratboy did some investigations into her background.
Well, vibes-wise, we were going to roast this old lady as chief of police in a violent black town in America, right?
And we have Deb in charge.
But we're going to put Deb in charge. Why? You know? She actually has a real good degree from this criminal justice place. We kind of need hard-nosed G's to go into places like this and kind of stop some of the bleeding. And so before we slandered her for no reason, we had to look into the background a little bit of Ann Kirkpatrick, the superintendent of New Orleans Police, a.k.a., basically the chief. She's an American law enforcement officer and the current superintendent of NOPD. Prior to New Orleans, she was the former chief of the Spokane Police Department and the first woman to head the Oakland Police Department.
So it's like a reverse resume.
It's like the most horrible cities that never improved and actually are on a straight line down. That gets her the New Orleans job. Oh, you fucked up Oakland too? You didn't do anything there? Come on, we're a piece of shit city with way too much crime too. We got murders that are unsolved. And so here's another quote from the Wikipedia. On February 2020, the Oakland Police Commission voted unanimously to fire Kirkpatrick, with Schaff joining in the decision as required by the law for a police chief to be fired without cause, saying that the commission's trust in Kirkpatrick was irrevocably broken. And then she filed a federal lawsuit and blah, blah, blah. But it's like getting fired in Oakland. Then you go, hey, I'm in New Orleans. There's a weird thing with like police. When you get to that high level of like commissioner or chief, you kind of can switch cities around. And it's like, it leads me to believe it's more of like an administrative and like figurehead, like dealing with the mayor's office and then press, PR and stuff. You don't know the ins and outs of the city. You're just like a figurehead Muppet.
I'm a woman in charge of the police.
And
Isn't that a little different?
Yeah.
Take that, Trump.
So
New Orleans fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Take that, Trump. Oakland's on fire.
I don't know, man. Isn't that just a bad visual? You see an old lady chief of police, and then it's like, well,
We need Tom Homan to go do this shit.
That's what I'm saying. You need some a G.
O-line coach physiognomy.
Absolutely. Not knitting grandma physiognomy.
Exactly. All right. There is some good news. This is going to kind of be a transition between urban and uplifting. Seattle finally starts throwing shoplifters and other petty criminals in jail for the first time in 4 years.
Yeah. And 4 years, you might be doing some mental math. When was that? Of course.
George Floyd.
2020, COVID and George Floyd. The big excuse to fuck off for any responsibility. The move was a win for local law enforcement, which has long pushed for more tools to fight a 4-year crime wave that has continued since the pandemic. Here's a quote. We've had people tell us, you can't arrest me for that. So obviously the street rats, they all know immediately what's legal and not, and how much shoplifting they can do and what they can get away with. The booking restrictions, this is all related to overcrowded jails. And so it was kind of like a temporary thing during COVID. The booking restrictions began in 2020 when King County Jail, which contracts with Seattle, slashed its capacity for social distancing reasons. After that, the county cited staffing issues for the ongoing restrictions. So COVID, and then, we can't hire anybody. And eventually, you know how this was solved? It was solved, and they just randomly turned it on this month. They just hired more people at the jail. That's it. They got a little more funding and did some bonuses to hire more people at the jail.
That swing where it's like, we have more jobs and employing people, and the criminals went down. Like, no one has a job, and the criminals can, that's like what was going on for 4 years before that.
You'd think that would be so simple and easy, but when you're in a fucked up leftist area like Seattle, like nobody has the balls to just do that. It's crazy.
Well, don't get too down or too depressed. We're moving on to uplifting gold, and we have some truly uplifting stuff today. First, we have a gay prank on Unk.
This guy's showing his uncle pictures.
La piscine, en fait, c'est vraiment...
Slides through the gay guys kissing.
Non mais, parce que les maisons, tu vois,
vendredi, qu'elle restait le week-end jusqu'à même lundi. Et ensuite, bon, on va passer quelques jours.
Yeah, so Unc's French.
Yeah, they're all French.
Je parle un petit peu de français. But Unc giving the eyes of just...
I love that.
Pretty good. Next, we have a Mormon missionary winning a pupusa eating contest, I believe, in Guatemala.
Yeah, some Colombia, maybe.
Comilona de pupusas en Armenia Sonsonate.
8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Love to see it.
Certain type of guy. That's not even a white guy. That's a pink guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a real white guy.
Yeah, that's
He's
a
pink.
good point. He's pink. And yeah, they have a certain type of thing about them, the Mormons. They're built a little different too. They're kind of like, there's like corn-fed middle America people, and then like Mormon guys are kind of like similar, but instead of like being on a farm, they're like cowboys, but a different type of farm. There's a different type of white man strength that the Mormons have that I appreciate.
Oh, for sure. And then they're also always sober. Every time you see them having fun, they're just dead sober, locked
But
in.
they're still down to have fun.
I agree.
Not like the worst judgmental people. They're just like, nah, I'm all good. I don't need that. I'm just dancing on my own.
Hey,
It's like, all right.
there are some people who dislike Mormons, like Christians or like Catholics or certain denominations who dislike Mormons, and I cannot argue with the results.
They all have, like, 10 kids.
Giant families, nice people, always nice, and they have the most sober fun ever. You Catholics, me included, you guys are getting drunk all the time.
It's a good point.
So drinking wine.
I got nothing bad to say about the Mormons.
Me too. Well, this is actually another Mormon type video.
Yeah, this is a little Mormon uplifting gold.
The mascot from BYU.
Let it rip.
Oh!
Hit his head, but he's okay. But as you know, some of the acrobatic mascots for like a lot of the football and basketball teams, they get paid like hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and they have to like rappel down, or they bungee jump, or they parachute in. There's like a whole market for acrobatic mascots, and I think that's what that BYU mascot's going for. He wants that $500K salary when he graduates.
You can make more than the president. And then I don't know if you guys also noticed this, but like, remember back when mascots had like a big round waist and like they were immobile and stuff? Now everyone's like trim, wearing football pants, basically just like tight. And they're just happen to be wearing a cat outfit. Like he's the cougar, but like, look at this. He's basically wearing the same fit as the players.
That's pretty good.
So I don't know. We'll monitor the situation and see what happens with his career.
Yep. He's my first round draft pick as of now, even though he hit his head. He can improve. Next,
And again, sober.
Yeah.
No painkillers, nothing. He plays through it.
Tennis ball wall guy.
All right, let's see. It's floppy. Again.
Can't knock that.
Again, you might not like it. You might think he looks floppy and say this isn't a real sport or anything, but you can't argue with that volley.
And then, you
can't argue with the volley.
When people and kids say, I have nothing to do.
Uh-huh.
There's something to do.
Yeah, there's something to do.
There's always something to do. Next is the compilation of all of the people doing Trump dances from the football games and UFC. So here they go. Isn't that great? Isn't that a shift? That's a huge shift, guys.
Yeah. Even the black players. John Jones. I didn't really expect John Jones to do it.
I like it.
Me too.
And then also at the UFC event, Mike Johnson was there.
Yeah.
He's like kind of a nerd.
Yeah, he's not really Trump's crew. He's a fringe guy, as we call them in the game.
But he had like fun and was hanging out with the cool kids. And like I think he's going to do whatever we tell him going forward.
Yeah, it's kind of like you invite the kid over before his parents go out of town. You cozy up to him, and then like his parents are going out of town, so you can host a banger at
We
his
could have
house.
a few people over, I guess.
Exactly. I'm getting those vibes from Mike Johnson. I hope he's a good henchman for us going forward.
Me too. All right, our last
For
clip
the
of
MAGA agenda. We're not just saying, henchmen do anything. We're talking about the agenda, guys. that everybody voted for.
He's going to help us get revenge on anyone who did anything to us.
Yeah, where's the Elon tweet? Hammer of justice, hammer of justice.
All right, last clip of the whole show. Lil Cop, and then the dad's a big cop. He's got a little mustache, and he likes it.
He likes it, yeah. That's good stuff.
He looks up to his dad. Dad's an upstanding citizen.
Little cop.
That's what it's all about. And that's the end of the show. Another Fleckis Talks in the books. Thank you guys for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. FleckisTalks.com for a 30-minute bonus land dropping right now. Extra show happening right now. We're also going to do a Q&A on Friday's bonus land. So there's lots of good bonus land content coming. There's also going to be a special, probably Henchman Maxing 2, coming out at the end of the year during Christmas. So now is the time to sign up for bonus land. And then that's it. That was a good what's it called in volleyball when you set it up? Set. That was a good set, and I just botched the spike. Well, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in Bonus Slam.
Please don't test your gangster on me because you will end on a stretcher.